Well, let's talk a little bit more about that bill that I mentioned in Montana, Senate Bill 458. As I said before, the bill sponsored by Senator Carl Glim makes its attack on the trans community in the form of strictly redefining sex in the law of the state to eliminate trans, non binary, and other gender non conforming identities. The hearing for the bill was typical for legislation of this type, bringing far more speakers against the bill than for it, with a final score of 40 to 6. Despite this, the bill passed through committee on party lines exactly with a vote of 6 to 3. The bill would define sex as the quote organization of the body and gametes for reproduction in human beings and other organisms, further specifying that humans have quote exactly two sexes with two corresponding gametes. It's just more of the usual rhetoric that a person's gender is irrelevant, it's only sex that matters, while ignoring the science that genetics are significantly more complicated than a simple and rigid binary system, whether you're talking about humans or the wider animal kingdom. The big issue of this bill is that it completely ignores the existence of intersex people whose sex isn't easily determined and does not follow many Republicans' narrow and skewed views of reality. This is something that we see over and over again in a lot of these bills, that the existence of intersex people is completely ignored. They're left out and left in this kind of limbo gray area where it's really unclear what is going to happen to them, is what's going to be done about them, because these bills just exclude their existence in these harsh and rigid example or rigid definitions of sex and gender. Luckily, this one doesn't address a gender at all. It is merely talking about sex. But as we've seen over and over again, this will be used as the basis for more bills that anybody acting or doing things outside of their sex, dressing outside of that assigned birth sex, will face a penalty for doing X, Y, and Z. The text of the bill states outright, quote, the sexes are determined by the biological indication of male or female, including sex chromosomes, gonads, and non-ambiguous internal and external genitalia present at birth, without regard to an individual's psychological, chosen, or subjective experience of gender, which just clearly throws out the recognition of intersex people entirely and the scientifically proven fact that they exist. They are here. There are many examples of them. There's a whole scale of different ways that people are intersex. And like I said, this bill just tries to plug its ears and close its eyes and shove its head in the sand and ignore scientific fact and reality.